King Gwanggaeto of Goguryeo was the 19th monarch of Goguryeo, the northernmost of the three kingdoms of Korea. His full posthumous name roughly means, very greatest king, broad expander of territory, buried in Gukgangsang, generally abbreviated to Gwanggaeto Wang or Hotel Wang. He selected Yeongnak as his era name, so is called Yeongnak Tai Wang occasionally. Under Gwanggaeto, Goguryeo once again became a power in East Asia, having once enjoyed such a status in the 2nd century CE. Upon Gwanggaeto's death at 39 years of age in 413, Goguryeo controlled the territory between the Amma and Han rivers. In addition, in 399, Silla submitted to Goguryeo for protection from raids from Baekje. Gwanggaeto captured the Baekje capital in present-day Seoul and made Baekje its vassal. Many consider this loose unification under Goguryeo to have been the only true unification of the three kingdoms. Gwanggaeto's accomplishments are recorded on the Gwanggaeto Stela, erected in 414 at the site of his tomb in Jian along the present-day China-North Korea border. It is the largest engraved stela in the world. Birth and background. At the time of Gwanggaeto's birth, Goguryeo was not as powerful as it once had been. Just prior to his birth, Jeonchogo of Baekje had soundly defeated Goguryeo, slaying Gogekwon of Goguryeo. Seshoram of Goguryeo, who succeeded Gogekwon upon the latter's death in 371, kept his foreign policy as isolationist as possible so as to rebuild a state gravely weakened by the Baekje invasion of 371. Goguryeo, who succeeded Seshoram, maintained a similar policy, opting to focus on the rehabilitation and remobilization of Goguryeo forces. After defeating Goguryeo in 371, Baekje had become one of the dominant powers in East Asia, whose influence was not limited to the Korean peninsula, but extended as far as Liaoxi in China. Baekje under Jeonchogo's leadership also seems to have had a close relationship with parts of Wa and established good relations with that archipelago's natives. Thus Goguryeo, surrounded by a powerful Baekje's forces to its south and west, was inclined to avoid conflict with its peninsular neighbor while cultivating constructive relations with the Jabei and Ruran, in order to defend itself from future invasions, and even the possible destruction of its state. Rise to power and campaigns against Baekje. Gwanggaeto succeeded his father, King Goguryeo, upon his death in 391. Upon his coronation, Gwanggaeto granted himself the title Supreme King Yeongnak, affirming himself as equal to the rulers of China and to the king of Baekje. In 392, with Gwanggaeto in personal command, Goguryeo attacked Baekje with 50,000 cavalry, taking 10 walled cities along the two countries' mutual border. This offensive infuriated King Asen of Baekje and he subsequently planned a counter-offensive against Gwanggaeto, a plan he was forced to abandon when his invasion force was defeated by Goguryeo in 393. King Asen again attacked Goguryeo in 394, and was again defeated. After several heavy defeats, Baekje began to politically crumble and the leadership of Asen came under doubt. Baekje was defeated by Goguryeo again in 395, and was eventually pushed back to a front along the Han River, where Wyrieseong was then its capital city located in the southern part of modern-day Seoul. In the following year, Gwanggaeto led his huge fleet in an assault on Wyrieseong, approaching by sea and river. Asen was expecting a ground invasion and was caught with his defenses down. Gwanggaeto's forces burnt about 58 walled fortresses under Baekje control, and defeated the forces of King Asen. Asen surrendered to Gwanggaeto, even handing over his brother as a Goguryeo captive as condition for maintaining his own rule over Baekje. Gwanggaeto had finally gained superiority over its longtime rival Baekje on the Korean peninsula. Conquest of the North. In 395, during a campaign against Baekje, the king himself attacked and conquered Bailey, a small settlement of Khitan people on the Liao River, not far from the Songhua. In 400, later Yan, founded by the Muirong clan of the Jabei in present-day Liaoning province, attacked Goguryeo. Gwanggaeto responded swiftly, recovering most of the territory seized by the Jabei and driving most of them from Goguryeo. Then in 402, he decided to launch an attack on later Yan itself, determined to protect his kingdom from further threat. In the same year, Gwanggaeto defeated the Xianpei, seizing some of their border fortresses. In 404, he invaded Liaodong and took the entire Liaodong peninsula. The Jabei did not watch idly as Goguryeo forces took over their lands. In 405, forces of the later Yan crossed the Liao River, and attacked Goguryeo but were defeated by Gwanggaeto. The Muirong Jabei invaded once again the following year, but yet again the Goguryeo king was able to repel them. Gwanggaeto led several more campaigns against Jabei as well as against Khitan tribes in present-day Inner Mongolia, which he brought under his control. In 408, the king sent a peace delegate to Gao Yun, then ruler of later Yan, northern Yan, to broker a settlement between the two dynasties. Because Gao Yun descended from the Goguryeo royal house as well, Goguryeo control over the Liaoning region remained strong until the Tang dynasty seized the area as a part of its war against Goguryeo in the late 7th century. In 410, Gwanggaeto began his conquest of the Dongbaiya. The Dongbaiya was no match for the massive army of Goguryeo, and it suffered a series of defeats, finally surrendering to Goguryeo after King Gwanggaeto conquered 64 walled cities and more than 1,400 villages. Gwanggaeto also attacked several Mohe and Ainu tribes further north, bringing them under Goguryeo domination. Southeastern campaigns. In 400, Silla, another Korean kingdom in the southeast of the peninsula, requested Goguryeo assistance to defend against an alliance, a Japanese army, the Baekje kingdom to the west, and the Gaya Confederacy to the southwest. In the same year, King Gwanggaeto responded with 50,000 troops, defeated both Japanese and Gaya cavalry units, and made both Silla and Gaya submit to his authority. In 402, he returned Silseong to Silla, to establish peaceful relationship with the kingdom while he continued the conquest of the north. But Goguryeo forces remained and continued to influence Silla. Death and legacy. King Gwanggaeto died of unknown disease in 413, at the age of 39. Although Gwanggaeto ruled for only 22 years and died fairly young, his conquests are said to mark the zenith of Korean history, except for the period of 200 years beginning with his son and successor, King Jangsu, and the later kingdom of Bala. Korea never before or since ruled such a vast territory. There is evidence that Goguryeo maximum extent lay even further west, in present-day Mongolia, bordered by the Rouran and Gokturks. Gwanggaeto is also given credit for establishing the reign titles that were recorded for the first time in Korean history, a symbolic gesture elevating Goguryeo monarchs as equals to their Chinese counterparts. Today, King Gwanggaeto the Great is one of two rulers of Korea who were given the title Great after their name. He is regarded by Koreans as one of the greatest heroes of their history, and is often taken as a potent symbol of Korean nationalism. The Gwanggaeto Stela, a 6-meter monument erected by Jangsu of Goguryeo in 414, was rediscovered in Jilin in 1875 by a Chinese scholar. The stela was inscribed with information about his reign, but not all characters are preserved. Korean and Japanese scholars disagree as to their interpretation in regards to the Hwa depiction in arts and media. In 2007, Taiwang Saisingyi, a fantasy historical drama, based partly on the life of Gwanggaeto the Great and partly on that of the mythological King Tangun, broadcast in Korea. Yu Sung-ho played the child version and Bae Yong-joon the adult version of the main protagonist. This drama became a huge success in Korea due to its high-profile lead actor, Bae Young-joon, and its amazing CGI effects that incorporated Korean legend with the history. The drama spanned the time period from the birth of Gwanggaeto the Great, to the midpoint of his reign at the end of the 4th century AD. The further legacy of Gwanggaeto is his immortalization as the eponymous ITF Taekwondo Tult created by General Choi Hong-hai along with the creative influence of his right-hand man, Nam Tae-hai. The diagram represents the expansion and recovery of lost territory. The 39 movements refer to the first two figures of 391 AD, the year he came to the throne. In 2011, a drama based on his life was aired on KBS, with the title Gwanggaeto, the Great Conqueror.